Former staffer Tara Reade says Biden violated her inside the U.S. Capitol in 1993. She filed a police report this week. Here's her account.
He had me against the wall, and then his hands were down my skirt and up my skirt, and I was wearing, I wasn't wearing tights or anything, and he then, with his hand, went from there and entered me with his hand, and as he was trying to kiss me.
Nobody can verify this. It's a he said, she said, with no witnesses from years ago. The Brett Kavanaugh accusation was also a he said, she said, with no witnesses from years ago. Both men denied it. But both accusations were treated completely differently because of politics. The Kavanaugh accusation immediately dominated the news. Wall-to-wall coverage for 2 straight months. But you can't find the Biden accusation anywhere. CNN hasn't covered it at all. But look how many times they covered Christine Blasey Ford. There's been nearly a total blackout on the Biden allegations on network television. In fact, since the allegation broke, Biden has done over a dozen interviews and hasn't been asked once about the woman who accused him of sexual assault. These are the same journalists who accused Brett Kavanaugh of being a rapist without any evidence.
I've never heard of a guy who's a one-time rapist. I've never heard of a guy who's a one-time sexual assaulter. I grew up with guys like this. He's from around this area, right? He's the 5th guy in a gang rape. It has amazed me that we have an administration that out of the millions of people who are qualified in this country of all races and genders, they consistently find men who beat, abuse, and sexually assault women.
That man is disgusting. Whoever he is, the media double standard is clear. Democrats are presumed innocent, and Republicans aren't. Let's compare the accusers objectively. Ford didn't tell anybody after the alleged incident took place. Reade told friends and family and claims she immediately filed a report with the Senate office. Several of Ford's friends don't believe her and have no recollection of the incident taking place. All of Reade's recognized family and friends say they believe her. Ford's memory of the incident was extremely hazy. Dates and locations and people were very unclear. Reade remembers details. Ford alleges she was pushed and held down on a bed. Reade alleges she was digitally penetrated. Ford's first public contact was a Senate Democrat, Dianne Feinstein, who released the allegations on the eve of a confirmation hearing. Reade's first public contact was a podcast in the media months and months before the election. Ford retained partisan powerhouse D.C. attorneys who took her case pro bono. Reade has not retained counsel yet. Again, Watters World has no idea if either of these allegations are true. We hope no one was victimized. But how can the media find Ford's story more credible than Reade's? A fair-minded person can't do that. Now, look at these so-called women's groups who condemned Kavanaugh but have been totally silent on Biden. Planned Parenthood, Emily's List, Women's March, NARAL, ACLU, the list goes on and on. It seems like believe all women really means believe certain women. The Biden accusation is becoming a media scandal and could take the Me Too movement down with it. Here with that, Martha McCallum, anchor of The Story and author of the book Unknown Valor. So, Martha, do you agree that the media is covering up this Biden accusation?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that, some of the people who ran against Joe Biden, including Bernie Sanders and Amy Klobuchar, in interviews have been asked what they think about Tara Reade's accusations. But Joe Biden has done more than 10, I think 12 interviews in the past since this information came out, and he has not been asked once about it. That in and of itself, Jesse, just raises so many questions. But what really strikes me in this whole story, more than anything, is something that we've been talking about for a really long time. And that is, with these accusations, which are always troublesome, the idea that you can believe all women or believe all men, for that matter, is preposterous on its face. What you need to do is analyze the evidence in a situation, the credibility of the claim that's being made, and evaluate it regardless of the sex of who the accuser is, man or woman. It's a sort of prefabricated moniker that really is meaningless. And it's interesting that Ruth Marcus, who wrote a whole book about the Kavanaugh accusation, suddenly said when she heard Tara Reade's account, her gut told her that Tara Reade wasn't telling her the truth. So this really just sort of blows open a lot of these notions and should remind everyone about the importance of due process in approaching these cases.
Right.
These cases are very sensitive. They deal with people's lives, and we've seen people get raked over the coals in them, sometimes unjustly, and that's devastating.
They're very hard to handle, and you just want fairness. That's what everybody wants,
yes.
Fairness and due process and even-handedness. Do you think that the way the media and even some of the Democrats like Elizabeth Warren, Harris, they've been asked about this and they went totally silent. Do you think this really hurts the women's movement, the Me Too movement, female Democrats running for president when they go so stone-cold silent like this?
Well, it just makes it clear to me that they understand that there is so much hypocrisy in the way that these cases are treated. And if you can't hold everyone to the same measure and say, yes, of course, if you're going to say believe all women, which we've heard from many of the people that you just mentioned, then that has to ring true across the board, even when it's the candidate who is running for president on your side of the fence. And so, what I'd love to hear from them is, this really has opened my eyes to a lot of the things that we've seen over the past couple of years about due process and about being fair and about looking at actual evidence and the trail of it that leads or does not lead to these men in these cases. So it just really smacks of something that is so disingenuous in the way that people have approached these. And I really hope that it breaks that wide open for the future as well, Jesse.
All right, Martha, thanks a lot. And everybody go check out the book.
Thank you.
Up next, last call.